Assalamu alaikum students. Today we will talk about the next group of thallophytes called fungi. Okay, after this lecture, student will understand about the introduction and general characteristic of fungi. Will know about the classification of fungi and will also familiar with the importance of fungi. What is fungus? A fungus is any member of the group of eukaryotic organisms that includes microorganisms such as yeast and mold, as well as the more familiar mushrooms. Fungi once were considered to be plants because they grow out of the soil and have a rigid cell wall. Nowadays, they are placed independently in their own kingdom. Kingdom fungi, the true fungi, also called the Eumycota. The study of fungi is called mycology, and students remember the study of algae is called phycology. Okay, scientists who study fungi is called mycologist. Mycosis, any illness caused by the growth of a fungus either on or inside the body, or disease caused by fungi in animals including humans. Okay, symbionts, the organism involved in symbiotic relationship. How many species of fungi exist? No one knows for sure how many species of fungi are there on our planet at this time. But what was assumed that the number of fungal species range between 3.5 and 5.1 million worldwide. Okay, let's discuss about the characteristic of fungi. Fungi is the second important group of the subkingdom Thallophytes. It lacks chlorophyll and hence no photosynthesis takes place like animals. Fungi are heterotrophs. They use complex organic compound as a source of carbon rather than fixed carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, as do some most plants. Fungi obtain its nutrient by absorption. The main body consists of mycelium bearing thin, tender, and branch outgrowths called hyphae. Reserve food is not found in the form of starch. It is always found in the form of glycogen and fats. Fungi is a group of eukaryotic non-phototrophic organisms with rigid cell wall. Cell wall is made up of chitin. Most are multicellular, example mushrooms, and some are unicellular, example are yeast. Fungi are mainly found in damp and shady places. Fungi do not produce flower, but it reproduces by spores. Most fungi have a thallus composed of hyphae. So what is hyphae? Hyphae is a long branching filamentous structure of a fungus or a thread-like structure of fungi. It's called hyphae. Mass of these hyphae is called mycelium. You can see in the picture. Fungal hyphae may be septate or aseptate. Most fungal hyphae are divided into separate cells by end walls called septa. You can see in the picture. In most phyla of fungi, tiny holes in the septa allow for the rapid flow of nutrients and small molecules from cell to cell along the hyphae. They are described as perforated septa. Hyphae of asepta fungi lack crosswalk. The hyphae in bread mold, which belongs to Phylum Zygomycota, are not separated by septa. Instead, they are formed by a large cell containing many nuclei. And Arrangement described as a conocytic hyphae means hyphae containing many nuclei. Okay. Remember, in older hyphae, the septum helps in separation of its dead portion from the living one. Under favorable environmental conditions, fungal spores germinate and form hyphae. It is reported that one giant individual of Almalaria in Oregon state of America is 3.4 miles in diameter and covers 2,200 acres of forest. Fungi get carbon from organic sources. The hyphae secrete digestive enzymes which break down the substrate, making it easier for fungus to absorb the nutrients which the substrate contains and diffuse back into hyphae. Mode of nutrition is specialized into three main types. Apopes absorb nutrients from dead organic material. Parasitic fungi absorb nutrients from cell of living host. Some are pathogenic. Mutualistic fungi absorb nutrients from the host but reciprocate to benefit the host. Lichen and mycorrhiza. The fungal member of the lichen is usually an Ascomycetes or Basidiomycetes, and the algae is usually Cyanobacterium or Chlorophyta means green algae. Often the fungal partner is unable to grow without the algae symbiont, making it difficult to classify these organisms. So, lichens are symbiotic association between fungi and unicellular green algae. The photosynthetic partner means algae of the partnership uses solar energy to manufacture simple sugar producing food for itself and also consumed by fungus. And in return, the fungus provide a structure within which the phototrophic partner can grow, protect from erosion. There are an estimated 13 to 17,000 species of lichen extended from the tropic to the polar region. Some of them grow on the bark of temperate trees, others occupy some of the most inhospitable environments on earth, growing on the bare rock surface where they help in the process of soil formation, and on desert sands where they help to stabilize the surface and enrich it with nutrients. Okay, together with algae, these organisms form a unit so tough and undemanding of nutrients that it is among the first to colonize newly formed volcanic island. Brightly colored lichen can grow from the desert to Arctic and can even grow on bare road. They grow very slowly. Let's discuss other symbiotic relationship, mycorrhiza. Mycorrhiza mean fungus root mutualistic relationship between plants and fungi. The hyphae of mycorrhiza fungi surround the plant root and invade the root cells. The fungus digests and absorbs water, minerals and organic nutrients from the soil and passes some of them directly into the root cells. In return, sugar produced photosynthetically by plants is passed from the root to fungus. Mycorrhizal association may have been important in the invasion of land by plants more than 400 million years ago. These mycorrhizae improve nutrient and water uptake, improve root growth in poor soil, improve plant growth and yield, improve disease resistance, reduce transplant shock, and also reduce drought stress. And the different features and diversity of major phyla of true fungi will be briefly discussed in the coming slides. A generalized life cycle will also be presented. Kingdom fungi mostly classified by the shape of its fruiting bodies. First one is a Phylum Chytridiomycota, chytrids. Second one is Phylum Ascomycota, which is also called as a sac fungi. Phylum Zygomycota, the bread mold. One is Phylum Basidiomycota or the club fungi. Phylum Deuteromycota or a fungi imperfect. So let's discuss these phylum in detail. The chytrids are distinguished from the other fungi by their swimming spores called zoospores. Mycologists suggest that the chytrids form an ancient group that gave rise to the other groups of modern fungi. Chytrids were found in rocks more than 600 million years old. Most chytrids species feed on dead aquatic plants in watery environments, but some are parasites of plants or animals. Parasitic chytrids is believed to be a major cause of frogs' death worldwide. Frog populations under stress from pollution and other environmental challenges might be more susceptible to infection by chytrids. Let's discuss the diversity of sac fungi. Mycologists have described over 60,000 species of ascomycetes or sac fungi, commonly called as sac fungi or cup fungi, for the cup-shaped fruiting bodies of many ascomycetes. Different species of Ascomycota produce sexually called asci, and many species of Ascomycota also produce spores through an asexual reproduction. These spores are called conidia. Many of the colorful molds attack store food and destroy fruit and grain crops. Some Ascomycota species play a beneficial role, such as yeast used in baking, beverage. Aspergillus oryza is used in fermentation of rice to produce sap. This group also includes many delicious edible fungi, for example, truffles and molds. The zygomycetes are a relatively small group of fungi belonging to the phylum Zygomycota. They include the familiar bread mold Rhizopus stolonifer, which rapidly propagates on the surface of bread, fruits, and vegetables. All the fungi assigned to this group form spores in a sporangium. Most species are saprobes, living off decaying organic materials. A few are parasites, particularly of insects. Zygomycetes play a considerable commercial role. Rhizopus oryza, used to make sack, the rice wine of Asia. This is the picture of Rhizopus, commonly known as bread mold. In asexual reproduction, the mold makes spores inside a sporangium by producing sporangiospores. Okay, and let's discuss about the life cycle of zygomycetes. You can see in the picture in asexual reproduction, in the bread mold, haploid spores produced within the sporangia. They disperse and germinate on the food such as bread. During sexual reproduction, a hyphae of different mating types, plus and minus on the bread, contact one another and fuse, producing a diploid zygospores. You can see in the picture the zygospores undergoes meiosis and germinate, producing sporangia that release haploid spores. In this way they complete their life cycle. Next phylum is Phylum Basidiomycota or club fungi. The fungi in the phylum Basidiomycota are easily recognizable by their club-shaped fruiting bodies called basidia, which are the swollen terminal cells of hyphae. The basidia, which are the reproductive organ of these fungi, are often contained within the familiar mushrooms commonly seen in the field after rain. These mushrooms producing basidiomycetes are sometimes referred to as a gill fungi because of the presence of gill-like structures on the underside of the cap. The gill are actually compacted hyphae on which the basidia are born. This group also includes shelf fungus, which cling to the bark of trees like small shells. Basidiospores are released by billion from the gills of mushrooms through opening in the tops of puffballs and are dispersed by wind or water. The fruiting bodies of Basidiomycetes form a ring in a meadow, commonly called as a fairy ring. You can see in the picture. In addition, this group also causes diseases in plant, include smuts and rust, which are important plant pathogens. The phylum Deuteromycota, also called as a imperfect fungi. Why it is called imperfect fungi? Because um, all fungi which have lost the ability to reproduce sexually, since they do not possess the sexual structures that are used to classify other fungi. If you can see in the picture, the spherical structure is called conidiophore. Most members live on land, but some are aquatic. They form visible mycelia with a fuzzy appearance and are commonly known as mold. Leaf spot fungus caused by aspergillus is a imperfect fungus commonly found as a food contaminant. Multicellular fungi have a complex reproductive cycles and distinctive reproductive structures. Basidiomycota have basidia, zygomycota have zygospores, and ascomycota have a asci. Okay, let's discuss about the ecological impacts of fungi. Fungi and bacteria are the main decomposers in any ecosystem. The fungi are earth undertakers, remember, consuming the dead of all kingdom and returning their components to the ecosystem. Decompose dead leaves and animals return nutrients, carbon, nitrogen, and minerals to the soil and absorb food quickly and recycle nutrients quickly. For example, bilobus fungi, which belongs to Zygomycota, decomposes dead of grazing animals. Most fungi are beneficial used to produce drugs, antibiotics, such as penicillin from the fungus Penicillium, alcohol, acids, food, etc., fermented products. Certain mushrooms make wonderful ingredients. For example, yeast help us create some of our staple food like bread. Okay, fungi is used as a research tool. For example, yeast to increase crop production. We are using fungicides. Fungus play very important role. These fungi are ubiquitous in nature. I mean, they are present everywhere, and many strains are present within the species, making it more specific against insect and diseases. Fungi as a food or used in food preparation. Humans have been eating fungi since before we started walking. Examples include truffles, mushrooms, shiitake, and hundreds others. Today we eat an numerous variety of edible fungi. So, how do fungi affect plants and humans? Fungi attacks plants that are important to people. Fungi causes the majority of plant diseases, and some of the plants that they affect are important to humans. Fungal pathogens, smut and rust, causing billion dollars worth of damage to grain crop annually. Some ascomycetes more secrete the enzyme cellulose and proteases, which can cause significant damage to cotton and wool textile, okay, especially in the warm humid climate where molds flourish easily. Some fungal diseases occur on a wide range of trees and vegetables. Peach scab, gray mold, and Dutch of elm diseases are mainly caused by fungus. Fungi causes human diseases. Kingdom fungi also include parasitic species that attack humans directly. The most familiar fungal diseases are those that caused by ascomycetes that attack the skin, for example, a ringworm in animals and athletic foods in humans. Fungi can also infect the lungs when victims inhale spores of the fungi that causes diseases such as valley fever and histoplasmosis. Fungi also produces toxins that are dangerous to humans. A toxin produced by fungi that grow on grain and other foodstuffs that have been stored in too moist conditions. Mold of genus Aspergillus produce highly toxic carcinogenic compound known as aflatoxin. You can see in the picture many peanuts are infected by this fungi. Okay, let's talk about the destroying angel. One of the most toxic and poisonous mushroom is the destroying angel. It belongs to the species of Amanita virosa with a white stalk and gills, as you can see in the picture. They can sometimes be mistaken for button mushrooms and the meadow mushrooms, which are edible. So it is important to know how to identify mushrooms, as they can also be found on lawns or other grassy areas. They are white in color and grow in summer and autumn. They are highly poisonous and can result in instant death if consumed. These mushrooms are dangerous for human health, and if digested, the symptoms occur after 5 to 24 hours, and by then the poison has been absorbed in the kidneys and liver. What would happen if all microbes unexpectedly disappear from this universe? If fungi and bacteria were suddenly to disappear, the consequences would be disastrous. Nutrients would remain locked in the bodies of the dead plants and animals. Soil fertility would rapidly decline. Waste and organic debris would accumulate. In short, ecosystem would collapse. This is all about the fungi. I hope you understood the lecture. If you have any question, we will discuss it in our question answer session. Thank you.